So if you're trying to solve a murder, what's on your wish list? You'd want DNA, right?
Oh, absolutely. DNA, fingerprints, maybe the murder weapon.
The killer's clothes, a physical description.
You'd want all of it.
What if I told you a killer left all of that behind? And, I mean, a mountain of it.
Yeah.
And yet, 25 years later, he's still a complete ghost.
That's the Setagaya Family Murder. It is probably the most baffling, unsolved crime in modern Japanese history. We have a treasure trove of evidence, but zero suspects.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into that paradox. We're going to piece together the events of that night in Setagaya, Tokyo, and try to understand how a man who left his entire life story at a crime scene simply vanished.
We're talking about the Miyazawa family. They were murdered late on December 30th, 2000.
It was Mikio, the father, he was 44, his wife Yasuko, 41, and their two kids, Nina, who was 8, and little Ray, who was just 6 years old.
A completely normal, happy family, just wiped out. And where they lived is, well, it's a huge part of the story.
Right, this wasn't some dense, crowded part of Tokyo.
Not at the time, no. Their house was in an area, Kamisoshigaya, that was being slowly cleared out to make way for a new park. So at the time of the murders, there were only 3 other houses nearby. It was strangely isolated.
It created this pocket of vulnerability. And we know their last evening was just completely ordinary. They went shopping, had dinner, watched some TV.
Just a normal holiday evening. But the next morning, New Year's Eve, Yasuko's mother, Haruko, who actually lived right next door.
She couldn't get a hold of him.
Right. She went over around 10:40 in the morning to check on them, and that's when she found.
Well, she found the horrific scene.
Police who arrived later said they'd never seen anything like it. And not just because of the brutality, but because of what the killer did after.
Exactly. Let's walk through the attack itself first. The killer got in through a second-floor bathroom window.
And we know the tragic order of the killings.
Yes. The first victim was 6-year-old Ray. He was strangled on a mezzanine floor. After that, the killer went for the father, Mikio.
And the killer brought his own weapon for this. He did. He brought a sashimi knife. A very specific brand, actually, a sekimagoroku.
A sashimi knife is, that's for slicing fish. It's incredibly thin and sharp, but it's also delicate. It seems like a strange choice for a violent attack.
An extremely strange choice. And it tells you something about the killer's inexperience, because when he attacked Mikio, the tip of the knife just snapped right off.
It broke.
Broke off and got lodged inside Mikio's skull. So right away, the killer's plan goes out the window. His chosen weapon is useless.
So he panics.
He has to improvise. He finds a standard kitchen knife in the house, a santoku knife, and uses that to attack and kill Yasuko and her daughter Nina in the loft upstairs.
The shift from a prepared weapon to a random one already paints a picture of chaos.
Yeah.
But this is where the story goes from a brutal murder to something deeply, deeply weird. He doesn't flee.
No, he doesn't. He stays.
For how long?
For hours. Forensics confirms he was there until well past 1 in the morning.
After committing a quadruple murder, what was he doing?
He made herself at home. This is the part that defies all logic. He apparently took a nap on the second-floor sofa.
A nap? You're kidding me.
Took a nap, went through the fridge. He ate 4 cups of ice cream from their freezer. He also ate some melon and drank some of their barley tea.
Eating ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, the disconnect is staggering. It doesn't sound like a professional hitman. It sounds like someone completely unhinged.
Or someone with a very, very strange psychology. But it gets even more bizarre. He used the family's computer.
What for?
He surfed the internet for a while, and then he tried to buy theater tickets online.
He was planning a night out after what he'd just done.
It suggests he wasn't planning on going into hiding. He had plans for the next day. And then, maybe the most crucial clue of all, he used the upstairs toilet.
Okay.
And he didn't flush.
He left. He left that behind.
Yes. And that was an absolute goldmine for investigators. They analyzed it and found traces of sesame seeds and string beans. It gave them a picture of the meal he'd eaten hours before he ever entered that house.
Wow. So the napping, the snacking, the web surfing, it's like he felt no pressure at all, no fear of being caught.
It suggests this really bizarre confidence, or maybe just contempt. Which brings us to the evidence. He basically left his entire biography at the crime scene.
Let's go through it. Police built a pretty clear physical profile, right?
A very clear one. Male, type A blood. About 170 centimeters tall, so around 5'7", slender build. And he was right-handed. We also know he injured his hand during the struggle
How do we know that?
because his DNA was all over the house. He left it everywhere.
And then there are the clothes. He literally shed his killer's outfit and just left it there.
He did. He left a black Air Tech jacket from Uniqlo. It was a common item. Sure, 82,000 of them were sold. But then he left a sweatshirt.
And the sweatshirt is the really mind-boggling piece of this puzzle.
It really is. It was a raglan-style sweatshirt, purple sleeves, light gray body. Here's the thing. Only 130 of that specific shirt were ever sold.
130 in all of Japan.
Just 130. They were sold at 41 different stores, so they were spread out. But that should have been the key. I mean, that should have cracked the case wide open.
So why didn't it?
It's hard to say for sure. They tried for years to trace every single purchase, but the trail just went cold. It suggests the killer might have been transient or just got incredibly lucky.
Okay, so we had the jacket, the impossible to trace sweatshirt. What else?
He left Aduin gloves, a crusher-style hat, and even a plaid muffler. And there was a scent.
A scent.
Drakkar Noir cologne. The smell was detected on a hip bag and some handkerchiefs he abandoned. This is a guy who cared about how he smelled while committing a murder.
Every detail is just stranger than the last. But the biggest clue, the one that blows this case wide open internationally, is his shoes.
The shoes are critical. The footprints were from a pair of Slazenger sneakers, size 27.5 centimeters.
Okay.
That's a Korean size 280. And here's the kicker. Shoes of that specific size and model were never sold on the Japanese market.
So he had to have bought them outside of Japan.
Exactly. It points directly to a foreign connection, most likely Korean, given the sizing system.
So that narrows it down.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the DNA evidence adds another layer of complete confusion.
It really does. Investigators analyzed his mitochondrial DNA, and they found a profile that is highly, highly unusual for Japan's population.
What did they find?
His father's side was East Asian. That tracks with the Korean shoe theory. But his mother's lineage, that was traced back to Southern Europe.
Southern Europe, you mean like Italy, Spain?
The Mediterranean or Adriatic region, yes. So we have a person of mixed Asian-European heritage, which is already rare.
But wait, there's another piece of evidence that points somewhere else entirely, doesn't it? Miles away from both Asia and Europe.
Thousands of miles away. Inside the hip bag he left behind, they found trace amounts of sand.
And it wasn't just any sand.
No. Forensic analysis matched it, specifically to the Mojave Desert in California, near the Edwards Air Force Base.
Okay, stop. Let's try to connect these dots. We have Korean shoes, we have Southern European and maternal DNA,
Yeah.
and we have sand from a U.S. military base in California. This profile feels almost designed to be impossible.
It's a logistical nightmare for investigators. It gives you these wildly different theories. Theory one is the Korean connection. Maybe a hired hitman, former military who came in for the job.
Okay, theory two.
The American military connection. The sand, the mixed DNA. It could point to the child of a service member, someone who was maybe stationed in California, then in Korea where he bought the shoes, and then finally in Japan.
Which would explain how he has ties to all three places. It also raises the question of jurisdiction. Could he have slipped through the cracks between different international police forces?
It's a very real possibility, and it makes the lack of a DNA match in any military database incredibly frustrating.
Which brings us back to the biggest hole in the entire case. Motive. Why? If it was a hired hit, why the nap and the mice cream? If it was a robbery?
It definitely wasn't a robbery. He ignored a large amount of cash and other valuables that were in plain sight. He was looking for something, but it wasn't money.
The only theory that seems to fit the idea of a targeted hit on the whole family is the property dispute theory.
Right. The idea that some shady real estate developer hired someone to remove the family because they wouldn't sell their land for the park expansion.
But a professional hitman doesn't leave his DNA, his sweatshirt, and his unflushed toilet behind. The scene screams amateur.
Exactly. The professionalism of the motive just doesn't match the utter chaos of the crime scene itself. Every theory you come up with is immediately contradicted by another piece of evidence.
So after 25 years, where do we go from here? Is there any hope left?
The hope really rests entirely on advances in forensic science, specifically something called DNA phenotyping.
Can you break that down for us? How is that different from regular DNA matching?
Sure. So think of standard DNA analysis like a lock and key. You have the killer's DNA from the scene, that's your key. You then try that key on every lock in your criminal database.
And if there's no match, you're just stuck with a key to an unknown lock.
Exactly, you're stuck. Phenotyping is different. It analyzes the DNA itself, the key to build a picture of what the lock should look like. It can predict physical traits like eye color, hair colors, skin tone, even facial structure. It builds a composite sketch from the DNA alone.
That sounds like science fiction. And it seems like the perfect tool for a case like this, with a suspect of mixed ancestry. So why can't Japanese police just use it now?
Two big roadblocks. First is legal. Japan doesn't currently have a legal framework that allows for using DNA to predict an appearance. It can only be used for direct matching.
And the second problem is accuracy.
Precisely. To work well, the technology needs a huge database of local DNA to learn from. Japan's database is still relatively small, so the accuracy for phenotyping is estimated to be, well, pretty low, maybe only 10%. It's just not reliable enough yet.
But there's still a chance. Just recently, another cold case from 1999 was solved after more than 20 years thanks to a new DNA match. So the technology's catching up.
The evidence is there. It's just sitting in a lab waiting for the science and perhaps the law to catch up to it.
So we're left with this ghost. A man who gave us his clothing size, his shoe size, his DNA, his favorite cologne, and even what he ate for dinner. And yet he just disappeared.
And you have to wonder, was that the point? Did he leave behind this contradictory trail on purpose? The Korean shoes, the California sand, the European DNA? Was it a deliberate strategy to send investigators chasing ghosts down a dozen different paths?
Or was the real strategy the bizarre behavior itself? The napping, the ice cream. An act so chaotic it makes him impossible to profile as either a professional or a random maniac. He's somewhere in between, in a category all his own.
It leaves you with a final question. If you were the lead investigator today, what would you focus on? The international clues, the shoes, the sand? Or would you go back to the house, to the documents he was looking through, to find the one thing he was really after?
A case that still haunts Tokyo. And a chilling reminder that sometimes having all the evidence in the world can be just as confusing as having none at all.
For anyone listening, a reward of up to 20 million yen is still being offered for information. If you know anything, please contact the Seijo police station.